Who would have thought that this fella right here, Teoscar Hernandez, would be the latest member to join the Dodgers and be part of the legalized cheating system that the Dodgers have down in LA? Let's break that down right now. Again, let me just repeat what I just said. A legalized cheating system. I am not saying that the Dodgers are cheating, but a lot of people across the game of baseball and in the community, they're saying that the Dodgers, they're taking advantage of deferred money and they're breaking baseball in the process. So let's talk about why deferred money is so important. You guys have to remember that every single team in Major League Baseball can defer money. The Dodgers, they are not doing anything illegal. But where the Dodgers have the advantage is the fact that they nearly have an $8.5 billion local TV deal. Now, one thing to remember as well, every single team in Major League Baseball, they basically get a check for $75 to $90 million on opening day every single year. That is national TV money. But separate from that, every single team also has a deal locally, and the Dodgers, they have the biggest one right now in terms of what they pay versus what they get in revenue. Yes, they're even more lucrative than the Yankees and the Yes Network. The Dodgers, they're the best run organization in baseball right now, and it's not even close. So the reason why the Dodgers can go out and get a Teoscar Hernandez for $23.5 million, that is a lot of money. But again, they can do this because he is deferring $8.5 million of the $23.5 from 2030 to 2039. The rest of it will be paid off. Again, it's deferred. But again, they can do this because they don't have to worry about future monies because they have so much coming in, not only from attendance and merchandise and everything like that, but because their pockets are getting fatter and fatter with local TV money. That's where it really becomes an infinite money glitch. So now we have to pose the question, should Robert Manfred step in and do something about the deferred money, which he's never going to because it's part of the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. The Dodgers aren't doing anything illegal. Every single team in MLB could do exactly what they're doing. They just couldn't do it to the level of the Dodgers because they don't have an infinite money glitch like some cheat code in Grand Theft Auto 5. So that's why a lot of people are saying that baseball is broken. Yes, the luxury tax is in place, but it's not really doing anything in terms of giving money to the poorer owners. I say poorer in air quotes because the majority of MLB owners are near billionaires, not necessarily in liquidity. That is just money that you can convert to cash, but they have a lot of assets and they're very rich humans. But a lot of them are just cheap, flat out. Now, one other team that is very good at the whole financial aspect of Major League Baseball is the Atlanta Braves. And as you can see, when they signed Chris Sale, he pledged to give 1% of his salary to the Atlanta Braves Foundation, just like every other free agent or every other player that signs an extension or contract with the Braves. A few days ago, the GM of the Dodgers, Andrew Freeman, he was quoted that he was looking to acquire a right-handed hitting outfielder that can crush left-handed pitching. And guess what happened a few days ago? They picked up Teoscar Hernandez, and if you take a look, of all of the people on this list, this is the highest slugging against left-handed pitching since 2018. Teoscar Hernandez is the only right-handed hitting outfielder in the top 10, not named Mookie Betts. Yes, Teoscar has been better against lefties than Mookie frickin' Betts, and a couple days after Andrew Freeman, the GM of the Dodgers, said we want a player like that, they get the best version of that player, and then that player defers almost $10 million. I mean, if you take a look at the Dodgers lineup right now, Mookie Betts, he's deferring money. Shohei Ohtani, he's deferring money. Freddie Freeman, deferring money. Teoscar Hernandez, deferring money. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he is not deferring money, but his contract is backloaded. I can't remember if Tyler Glasnow is deferring money or not, but the Dodgers, they have added so many pieces. Ohtani, Teoscar, Yamamoto, Glasnow. I mean, the Dodgers on paper, they could be the best team in baseball. And honestly, I am so excited to see who wins in the National League because the Phillies are still a juggernaut. The Braves are still really good. The Diamondbacks have gotten better. The Dodgers are clearly having one of the best off seasons that we've ever seen, but in large part because they're using the legalized system of cheating that is deferred money and their unlimited infinite cheat code known as the TV deal. That is their local TV deal. Remember, national money and local money, it's separate. The Dodgers might make $200 million a year in local TV money, whereas someone like the Miami Marlins, they might make anywhere from $25 to $40 million in local TV money. That's the difference. So when you take the difference in local TV money and then you compound that with deferred money, that's why the Dodgers are so smart. They are using the CBA to their advantage. Every single team in Major League Baseball can do the exact same thing. And I hate to really be cruel about this, but you're all just jealous haters because your team is not doing it as well as the Dodgers. I'm a Guardians fan. I wish that my team would invest in their club like this because the dude who owns the Guardians, he's a billionaire as well, maybe even a multi-billionaire. Only 6 owners in Major League Baseball are not billionaires. Now, again, liquidity is a thing, but for the most part, when owners get their national TV money, they pretty much pocket it. They don't even really spend it. Now, I know there's some nuance in that, and you can kind of say that they keep the money for rainy days over the next few years, and they do end up spending the money. But for the most part, these billionaires, they're crying poor, and it's just not real. It's a fallacy. They can spend more money if they wanted to. Talking about the Orioles owner, the Guardians, it's sickening. And what's crazy, I'm going to go back to this list. Do you see that JD Martinez has been a top 5 hitter against lefties? Do you guys remember that JD Martinez was literally on the Dodgers last year? So they're losing JD Martinez, but then they're getting Teoscar Hernandez. Then Teoscar is deferring $8.5 million of the $23.5 that he's... I mean, the Dodgers are doing things that we've never seen before. It's borderline witchcraft, but it's legal witchcraft. So what can be done about this? Because clearly the luxury tax, it's not really doing much to deter teams from spending as much money as possible. But then again, we're only talking about a handful of teams that shows a trend of consistently going above the luxury tax. That's the Mets, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Phillies, the Yankees. The Boston Red Sox were on this list, but obviously they're cutting payroll as well because they do not want to get taxed into the shadow realm. But already on paper, the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Braves, they're all projected to exceed the luxury tax. And if you guys missed it, the luxury tax bills from last year, so that is all of the teams that went over the luxury tax, they were taxed, obviously, and then they're basically given a bill. Those bills are collected and then dispersed over the rest of Major League Baseball. So the Mets, they owed over $100 million in fees, essentially. The Padres at $39 million. The Yankees, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, the Braves, and then the Rangers, they were at $1.8 million. So I guess the Boston Red Sox, they were able to just get underneath that last year, but they were in that range. So also one thing I do want to mention, the Rangers, they're not some Cinderella story, but I bring up the Rangers because they are a perfect example of being a mid-baseball team investing in guys like Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. I haven't even talked about Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom wasn't even on the team. What did they do? They trusted in their farm system. They trusted in their GM, who had an amazing year, Chris Young. He traded for Jordan Montgomery. Nathan Eovaldi was a fantastic signing. Could you imagine if teams like the Rays or the Guardians actually spent money on top of how good they are at developing players? It just blows my mind that everyone is hating on the Dodgers for actually investing in their ball club, despite the fact that, again, there is a little bit of nuance. It's not really fair because they have so much more money than the small market teams. Like, that is an objective truth. They have way more money to spend and burn and just never think about again. Whereas the Guardians owner, because a lot of people don't go to the games, he has to think twice about it. And I just want to make sure I throw that out there because I understand why people say it's not fair on paper. But I just have to reiterate, the Dodgers are not doing anything wrong. Deferred money is in the CBA. Technically, if they wanted to, they could defer every single cent of every single contract. And considering how good the Dodgers are at developing players, how good they are at making trades, and how much money they have coming in locally from the TV deals, I feel like they could defer 100% of every contract and still be fine, even though they might be in tax hell in 15 years when we all have grandkids. I mean, again, the Braves are a super team because they're spending a ton of money as well. They have stolen from poorer teams like the A's. Like, you have to really think about it. They stole Matt Olson and Sean Murphy. Why is no one mad at them for doing that? Oh, you know why? Because they're a team that has run extremely well. They win a lot of ball games. They invest in their club. They're fun to watch. I'm a Guardians fan. I wish that my team was ran this way. And again, I hate to really boil it down to, there's a lot of people that are just jealous of how well other teams are ran. And then some people are saying, well, some owners are just richer than the other. Like the guy who owns the Reds, he's not even worth $600 million. Sounds like a guy that should not own a professional sports team, if you ask me. He should probably sell the team to Jay-Z or someone that actually has a disposable income and doesn't have to worry about prospect hugging and not giving players what they're worth. All right, sorry, rant. I picked the Reds because of what they did a few years ago. They are on the come up. They are spending money. I mean, they almost gave Frankie Montas $20 million, so they're spending money now, which is cool. But then you have a team like the Mets, and they can afford to give Sean Manaea $14 million a year over the next 2 seasons. Now, real quick, I want to talk about Sean Manaea for 5 seconds because to end the season, Sean Manaea, he picked up a sweeper, and that sweeper was one of the best pitches in baseball to end the season. So in 2023, when he was throwing that sweep, we're talking about Sean Manaea. Hitters, they were 6 for 43. That is a 140 batting average with 1 extra base hit and 13 strikeouts and a near 40% whiff rate. So that's what the Mets are really going for. They're going to spend the $14 million a year for the next 2 years on Sean Manaea because he increased the velocity. He's got that sweeper. and they have money to spend. So we're going to flip the list and we're going to look at the teams that spend the least. And as you can see, these are the same handful of teams that never spend money year in and year out. The Oakland Athletics. It still blows my mind that the Baltimore Orioles have not signed a top flight starting pitcher. I mean, cool that they're relying on trades and their farm system to win a lot of ball games. They're kind of taking the Rays approach, but the Pirates, the Marlins, the Brewers, the Rays, the Guardians, the Reds, the White Sox, these are teams that are legitimately always in the bottom 10 to 15 in terms of payroll. And whether you want to blame the fact that their owner isn't as rich, whether you want to blame the local TV deals or the fact that some of their TV deals have gone bankrupt, which again, I do kind of feel bad that some of them have gone belly up. Like I think the Guardians, they can't spend any money in this offseason because of a TV deal that went bad with Bally Sports or something like that. So stuff like that is going to happen. But for the most part, the Guardians, they never spend money. So I hate to kind of be a Dodgers glazer or whatever you want to call it, but the fact that they picked up Teoscar Hernandez and he deferred $8.5 million of that contract, they can do this because they're the freaking Dodgers and they're run that well. But I have to remind you guys that every team has access to deferred money. Every team has access to national TV money. A lot of small market teams are given free money via the luxury tax bill system. So again, the Mets, the Padres, they were all pooled at almost $210 million. That is dispersed to these smaller markets. And what do the owners do? They, in large part, pocket it. Now, they might spend that money over the course of the next few seasons, but they refuse to invest it when their team could be using it the most. I don't know. Call me a Dodgers glazer. I wish I was a Dodgers fan because it sounds like a lot of fun to be a fan of a team that actually cares. So that does it for today's video. I cannot believe that Teoscar Hernandez, of all people, sparked this video. Ohtani's part of it. A lot of other guys have deferred as well. But then again, Ken Griffey Jr. and Chris Davis are in the top 5 of payrolls for their respective teams, the Reds and the Orioles, because they deferred money as well. Bobby Bonilla of the Mets, he has a day named after him because he has deferred money coming in as well. So deferred money, it's not going anywhere.